A 2006 study at Children's Hospital Los Angeles tracked 48 women with low bone density. Half stood on a vibrating platform for 10 minutes a day. After 12 months, the vibration group gained 3.9% more cancellous bone in the spine, without lifting a single weight. If you are over 55 and your bones are thinning, what you are about to hear could change the next decade of your skeletal health. Ignore it, and your skeleton keeps dissolving at a rate your doctor may not even be tracking. Most people believe bone is solid, like concrete. Pour it once, it hardens, and that is what you get for life. This is wrong. Your bones are alive. Right now, as you listen to this, specialized cells inside your skeleton are tearing old bone apart and rebuilding it. Every 7 to 10 years, you replace almost your entire skeleton. The problem is not that this process stops as you age. The problem is it becomes lopsided. After about age 35, the demolition crew, cells called osteoclasts, starts working faster than the construction crew, cells called osteoblasts. You lose more bone than you build. By the time a woman reaches 70, she may have lost 30 to 50% of her trabecular bone. The standard advice? Lift weights, take calcium, get your vitamin D, and those matter. But here is what the standard advice misses completely. Your bones do not just respond to heavy loads. They respond to frequency, to tiny, rapid signals most doctors were never taught about in medical school. Your skeleton has a built-in detection system that can sense vibrations so small you cannot even feel them. And when it detects those signals, it does something remarkable. It flips a molecular switch that tells your stem cells to become bone instead of fat. The research behind this has been building for over 25 years. It started with a problem NASA could not solve, and the solution changes everything about how you should think about your bones after 50. Here is the basic problem NASA faced. Astronauts in space lose bone fast. A study tracking 45 astronauts who spent 4 to 6 months on the International Space Station found bone losses between 2 and 9% in the lumbar spine, hip, and trochanter. That is years of aging crammed into months. The reason is simple. No gravity means no mechanical load on the skeleton. Your bones interpret that silence as a signal to shut down construction. Think of your bones like a building maintenance budget. If nobody walks through the hallways, if nobody opens the doors, if no one turns on the lights, the budget committee says, "Why are we spending money on upkeep?" and cuts the funding. That is exactly what your osteocytes, the sensor cells buried deep inside your bones, do when they stop feeling mechanical force. Dr. Clinton Rubin, a biomedical engineer at Stony Brook University in New York, spent decades asking a very specific question. What is the smallest mechanical signal that can convince bone to keep building? Not the largest, the smallest. His research, published across multiple papers from the late 1990s through the 2010s and funded by the National Institutes of Health, revealed something that surprised the field. In a landmark one-year study on elderly sheep, Rubin's team applied vibrations at just 0.3 G, about 1/3 the force of Earth's gravity, at a frequency of 30 cycles per second for 20 minutes a day. The result was a 34% increase in trabecular bone density in the distal femur compared to age-matched controls. 34%. From a vibration so gentle, the sheep barely moved. The research is still evolving on this, but the underlying principle is now well established. Your skeleton does not need to be hammered to respond. It needs to be asked, frequently, quickly, gently. The vibrations Rubin used are roughly equivalent to what your muscles produce when you stand still. Those tiny, involuntary tremors that keep you balanced and upright. As you age, those signals weaken. Your muscles contract less often and less powerfully. Your bones notice, and they respond by shrinking. Now here is where your body does something that connects to every person over 50 watching this. Your bone marrow contains mesenchymal stem cells. These cells are the precursors to both osteoblasts, the bone builders, and adipocytes, fat cells. The same stem cell can become bone or fat. What determines which path it takes? Mechanical signals. When Rubin's team at Stony Brook applied low-intensity vibration to mice for for just 15 minutes a day at 0.2 G and 90 Hz, the osteogenic stem cell population in the bone marrow increased by 37%. The stem cells were being steered toward becoming bone instead of fat. At the same time, the mice showed approximately 30% less visceral and subcutaneous fat. The vibration was not just building bone, it was redirecting the body's cellular construction plans. But this is only half the story. What happens at the cellular level, inside your osteocytes, is even more specific than anyone expected. Your osteocytes are the master sensors of your skeleton. There are roughly 42 billion of them in an adult human body. They sit inside tiny cavities in your bone called lacunae, connected to each other by thread-like projections that run through microscopic channels called canaliculi. Picture a vast underground communication network, like a subway system with 42 billion stations, all sending signals to each other through fluid-filled tunnels. When mechanical force passes through your bone, it pushes fluid through those tunnels. The osteocytes feel the flow, and they respond by releasing chemical signals, molecules like prostaglandin E2, nitric oxide, and a protein called RANKL that tell osteoblasts to build more bone and osteoclasts to slow down their demolition work. Here is the critical piece. Researchers at the University of Toronto applied low-magnitude vibration at 0.3 G and various frequencies, 30, 60, and 90 Hz, to osteocyte-like cells in the lab. Published in the journal Bone in 2011, the results showed that vibration at 90 Hz increased the expression of COX-2, a mechanically inducible enzyme involved in bone repair, by 344%. At the same time, RANKL, the molecule that activates bone-eating osteoclasts, dropped by 55% at 60 Hz. The osteocytes detected the vibration and released soluble factors that inhibited the formation of large osteoclasts by 36%. If you have ever woken up in the morning with stiff, aching hips, or noticed that your posture has slowly changed over the years, your shoulders rounding forward, your height shrinking, this is what has been happening inside your body. Your osteocytes have been receiving fewer and weaker mechanical signals. Their fluid-filled tunnels have been getting quieter, and in that silence, the demolition crew takes over. Some scientists dispute exactly how much of the vibration response is driven by fluid shear versus direct cellular acceleration. Depending on who you ask, the mechanism may involve the nucleus of the cell itself being physically moved by the vibration, like shaking an egg gently to disturb the yolk without cracking the shell. Rubin's team at Stony Brook proposed this idea, that the cell's internal skeleton, its cytoskeleton, acts like a tuning fork, and that low-intensity vibration can generate forces inside the cell rather than on its surface. This is still debated, but the outcome is consistent across dozens of studies. Now, if this is making sense to you, if you are starting to see why your bones have been losing density and what the actual mechanism is, subscribe now. Because what comes next is the part almost nobody talks about. It involves your bone marrow, your immune system, and what happens inside your skeleton between midnight and dawn. That section starts in about 4 minutes, and it reframes everything. The standard bone density conversation focuses on calcium and pharmaceuticals. Bisphosphonates like alendronate work by poisoning osteoclasts, stopping them from doing their job. That slows bone loss, but it also stops healthy bone remodeling. And some researchers argue it may make bone more brittle over time, not less. Vibration does something fundamentally different. It does not poison any cell. It speaks the language your bones already understand: mechanical force. But none of this matters if you do not understand what your bone marrow stem cells do when your body is at rest, especially between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. What almost nobody talks about is the immune connection. Your bone marrow does not just make bone cells, it makes your immune cells. The same marrow cavity that houses mesenchymal stem cells also houses hematopoietic stem cells, the precursors of your white blood cells, your T cells, your B cells. And these two populations are not independent. They share the same neighborhood. They influence each other. In a 7-month study published by Rubin's team, diet-induced obesity in mice accelerated age-related trabecular bone loss by 61% and slashed marrow B-cell counts by 52%. The animals were losing bone and losing immune function simultaneously. When low-intensity vibration was applied at 0.2 G, 90 Hz, for 15 minutes a day during the final 4 months of the experiment, both bone structure and B and T cell populations were restored to the levels of the healthy control animals. The vibration did not just protect bone, it rescued the immune system. Read that again. A vibration so gentle you could hold a cup of coffee while standing on the platform restored immune cell populations that obesity had destroyed. This is where the science gets uncomfortable for the pharmaceutical model. Drugs target one pathway. Vibration, because it is a mechanical signal, appears to influence stem cell fate at a foundational level, biasing mesenchymal stem cells away from becoming fat and toward becoming bone, while simultaneously biasing hematopoietic stem cells away from becoming osteoclasts and toward becoming functional immune cells. It is one signal with two downstream effects. Historians still argue whether Julius Wolff, the 19th century German surgeon who first proposed that bone adapts to the loads placed on it, fully understood what he had articulated. But his law, Wolff's law, is now being validated at the molecular level by vibration research. Here is the part that connects to your sleep. Bone remodeling is not a 24-hour steady process. It follows a circadian rhythm. Osteoclast activity peaks during the night. Between roughly midnight and 4 a.m., bone resorption increases. This is when your skeleton is most actively being dismantled. The construction crew, the osteoblasts, ramps up more during the day, particularly in response to mechanical loading. So every night, your bones are being eaten. Every day they can be rebuilt, but only if the signal is there. For most people over 60, the daytime signal has weakened. Muscle contractions are fewer. Walking is reduced. Standing time has decreased. The daily vibration dose your skeleton evolved to receive, from constant postural adjustments, from miles of walking, from physical labor, has dropped to a fraction of what it once was. Your osteocytes are starving for information, and at night, the osteoclasts do not care. They do their job regardless. A 2015 meta-analysis in the journal Scientific Reports, reviewing data from multiple randomized controlled trials, found that postmenopausal women who underwent whole-body vibration therapy showed significant increases in bone mineral density, particularly in the hip and lumbar spine. The effects were dose-dependent. More consistent use produced better outcomes. But even brief daily sessions, as short as 10 minutes, produced measurable protective effects. So the question becomes, if your body has this built-in mechanism, this ability to sense vibration and redirect stem cells and protect both bone and immune function, how do you activate it without a laboratory? Step 1. Get a low-intensity vibration platform rated at 0.3 to 0.4 G acceleration, operating between 30 and 90 Hz. This is not the same as the high-powered gym vibration plates that shake at 5 G or more. Those can be dangerous for anyone with osteoporosis. The International Safety Organization explicitly warns against high-intensity vibration in the elderly. You want low intensity. The platform should barely move. Displacement under 50 micrometers. Dr. Clinton Rubin at Stony Brook University, whose research has driven this field since the 1990s, helped develop a clinical-grade device operating at exactly 0.3 G and 30 Hz. Look for platforms that reference this specific range. Step 2. Stand on the platform for 10 to 20 minutes per day, 5 days a week. The Gilsand study at Children's Hospital Los Angeles in 2006 used 10 minutes daily for 12 months and found that women who used the device at least 2 minutes per day saw 3.9% more spinal cancellous bone and 2.9% more cortical bone in the femur than controls. The response appeared to have a threshold. Once you passed roughly 2 minutes, the biological switch was triggered, but showed no additional benefit beyond about 10 minutes. Your bones do not need hours. They need consistency. Step 3. Stand with your knees slightly bent, approximately 15 to 20 degrees of flexion. This ensures the vibration transmits through your legs, hips, and into your spine. Research by Rubin's group confirmed that vibration transmissibility to the hip and lumbar spine reaches about 80% when standing in this posture. Locked knees dampen the signal. Slightly bent knees amplify it. Step 4. Do this in the morning, ideally between 7 and 10 a.m. Remember, osteoclast activity peaks at night. Osteoblast activity responds to daytime mechanical signals. By delivering the vibration stimulus in the morning, you are front-loading the construction signal right when your skeleton is emerging from its overnight demolition phase. You are giving your osteocytes the clearest possible message: build. Step 5. Combine vibration with adequate vitamin D and protein intake. A 12-month randomized trial of 70 postmenopausal women, published in Frontiers in Endocrinology, found that low-intensity vibration at 0.2 G and 30 Hz curbed spinal and femoral bone loss, but the effect was enhanced in women with adequate vitamin D status. Vibration sends the signal. Your body needs the raw materials, calcium, collagen, vitamin D, to follow through on that signal. Without them, the message goes unanswered. If even one of these steps was new to you, hit like. It tells the algorithm to show this to more people who need it, and most people over 50 need it. The average American woman loses 20% of her bone density in the 5 to 7 years following menopause. Most of them are never told that a mechanical signal, not a drug, could help slow or stop that loss. Step 6. Track your progress. Get a DEXA scan at baseline, then again at 12 months. Do not expect overnight results. Bone remodeling is slow. Your skeleton replaces itself roughly every 7 to 10 years. But within 6 to 12 months, a properly administered vibration protocol should show either stabilization or modest gains in bone mineral density. If your T-score is below -1.0, you are already in osteopenia territory. Talk to your doctor, but bring the research with you. Step back for a moment. Think about what your skeleton actually is. It is not scaffolding. It is not the passive frame your muscles hang on. It is a living, sensing organ, one that listens to every step you take, every muscle contraction, every shift in posture. It has been listening your entire life, and for most people over 60, the conversation has gone quiet. That quiet is not inevitable. It is a signal deficit. Your bones are not failing because of age. They are failing because they have stopped receiving the mechanical information they were designed to receive. The constant, gentle hum of an active body moving through gravity. Vibration therapy is not a miracle. It is a translation. It takes the language your skeleton already speaks and delivers it in a concentrated dose that takes less time than brewing a pot of coffee. The research from Stony Brook, from Children's Hospital Los Angeles, from the University of Toronto, from NASA, it all points in the same direction. Your stem cells are waiting. Your osteocytes are listening. The mechanism is there. It has always been there. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What was the one thing in this video you wish you had known 10 years ago? I would bet most of you have noticed the signs. The height loss, the stiffness, the aching hips, and never connected it to a silence inside your bones. Tell me in the comments if that changed today. Your skeleton does not decay. It goes unspoken to. Share this with someone who needs it. A parent, a spouse, a friend who has been told their bones are thinning and there is nothing to do but take a pill. There is more to do. There has always been more to do. And if you have not subscribed yet, you should. What I have been researching for next week goes even deeper into how your nervous system controls bone remodeling, and that connection will change how you think about your body permanently. Your bones are still listening. Start talking back.